The Midwest, home sweet home in good old Indiana, a place of small towns, cozy families gathered together, and fields of corn and rustic woods. But, like any town, there is a dark underbelly that often goes unnoted. We are part of that darkness. We lurk in the shadows to bring you the best in horror, metal, and stories of the grotesque. This is Blood in the Cornfields. All right, welcome in, cellar dwellers. As always, I'm Mark.
I'm Ivy.
And we are Blood in the Cornfields. We have another episode again. Excited.
Yes.
Glad we're keeping this thing going, and we've survived.
Oh my God, we survived the Halloween season.
Yes, we have survived.
Mm-hmm.
So really excited. And of course, as you all can see, we have a guest. So I'm going to kick it to you if you'd like to introduce yourself, plug anything that you want, tell our listeners and watchers a little bit about you.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, I'm Colin McCorquodale. I'm a local, I like to try to call myself like a director, videographer, and just artist all around. I'm 22. I just graduated from IU with a degree in video production. I've been doing filmmaking for, I think, close to 6 years now. And I'm just now in that phase of my life where I'm going to try to start taking swings with my movies and putting myself out there, networking, and just try to fully take advantage of the time that I got.
Sweet.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you went to IU?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I lived in Bloomington for a year, and I have stories.
Oh, sorry, my bad. IUPUI. It got changed to IUI. Yeah, sorry about that. I should have mentioned that.
That's all that's all right. Well, I figured since you were in Indy, thought, natural progression. Just what? It's like an hour from Indy is Bloomington, if I remember right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Dang it. I have dick picture stories I was going to unleash on everyone.
I mean, you still could if you really wanted to, dude.
Yeah. I like every single guest that comes on, I have some sort of ridiculous story that I can like parlay into them. So, I mean, do y'all want to hear my stories?
Let's hear about your dick pics.
Okay. So your cat's like trying to get at my watch. So I lived in Bloomington, and this was I think it was like the year or two after I graduated high school. So it was like 2002.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an old fart. But that year, IU was voted like the party school. So there's a CVS that's like, I don't know if it's still there or whatever, but there's a CVS that like you had to drive through like the sorority and frat road. And first time I was driving there, I was kind of scoping it out, going to see like, okay, this is where I'm going to work. And I don't remember if it was late at night or early in the morning. It was one of the two. But I drove by and there were just straight up people passed out on like the lawn and shit. Like you would think in Revenge of the Nerds or some like classic college movie, like total cliche. Anyway, so I worked at CVS, and so I worked in the photo lab. And back then, of course, we developed film.
1 hour photo.
Yeah, so it was 1 hour photo. And I mean, you can imagine it's a college town. So where this kind of gets interesting. So I would develop film, and I've seen everything under the sun, dick pics, couples banging, like you name it and all that stuff. And we were supposed to put like a covering down. So like because they go through the machine and drop out. So like little kids aren't seeing a big honking penis, like just, drop down the chute. So the thing that was really cool there is I was dating the boss. So like,
look at you.
Yeah. So, and I had a friend, Matt, that worked there, and like, he actually introduced me to In Flames. I didn't know about In Flames until Matt did. Sorry, I'm a metal guy. But anyway, I'll get to the chase. So we would take turns, and like me and the boss would just go and watch a movie. Like there's a movie theater like right by where the CVS was. And then Matt and like his friend would go and watch a movie. But then we would dress up as Rolo. So Rolo is a big thing of film that you would like dance, by the side of the road and stuff. Dude. And I had Matt, I like dared him to get in Rolo and ring people up. So he has these big fake cartoon hands and he's trying to punch in on the register, ringing people up and shit. But where all the dick pics and where it gets kind of weird and stuff like that. So I went to another store. There was another store, I think like somewhere in the area. And I think because I got promoted and I was taking over that photo lab because I got pretty good at developing film. But anyway, so they introduced me and they pull out this like photo album that's this big. And these creepy ass perverts made duplicates of like every pornographic photo. And they're showing me this. And I'm like appalled because I'm like, oh my God, like, I'm pretty sure it's a crime, but it's like a massive invasion of privacy and stuff. So like, yeah, he was all proud and thumbing through it. And it's just like all these crazy ass film. But I had some couples that would like do shit, but they would come and talk to me. Cause like, you know, if you're a couple and you had like a little, you know, bedroom photo shoot, like you'd have to come talk to me because otherwise like you may not get your shit, you know? Because it's like with nudity, and if there's another person in there, then it becomes like, was it consensual? Was it not? Right. You know, that whole down that road. But yeah, these creepy perverts had this big stack photo album. But yeah, I was cool with a couple. I had a couple couples that would come in and bring their film to me, and I'd be like, all right, I got you, you know. And I know I'd have to do it at a time when it's later at night, and I would be like, hey, give me 3 days for this, and then they'd come back, and then I'd do it for them. Yeah, but yeah. So I've seen a bunch of dick pics before they were like dick pics, you know, through text.
That is insane. That's
my weird Bloomington story. Yeah.
So we need to ask you, what are your crazy college stories?
I was going to say, we need to ask you, where are your dick pics?
I would say some crazy college stories would probably just have to be most of the movies I put out on my channel. I tell my friends that's how I hang out with people, is I get people that say like they want to act or they just kind of want to hang out, and people that do film, and I'm like, let's go make a movie. So for example, we had one called Alienated. It's a little like high school rom-com and stuff, and I was like, let's do a prom scene. So I had like, I don't know, maybe like 10 or 12 people for the prom scene. So all my friends got dressed up and they were all like putting makeup on. We're getting our bow ties and everything ready. And we're like filming outside the Indiana State Museum and everything. And it was just funny because we're all like goofing around. And some of my friends were just like, sure, I'll be in it. So one of my friend Mosin, he was like trying to light up a fake cigarette and stuff like that. So my friends know how. So we're just like recording all these like natural moments for like a montage and stuff like that. We're taking like fake prom photos for like iPhone footage that they're going to scroll through. And it's kind of like, that's how most of my stuff in college went, was we have a really unique premise or idea and we get to hang out and kind of just sit in that weird idea for a while. So it's like, we want to do lightsabers. We basically hang out and we film a lightsaber fight or something like that. So I tend to really have a lot of really unique memories with people because I do like a film, I think like once a month. So there's always something creepy going on.
That's cool. Yeah. Well,
I don't even pay my bills once a month, let alone make a fucking film.
Yeah. And, you know, tell us a little bit about what you do outside of filmmaking as well. Just out of curiosity, like what's your normal, what do you do?
It's funny that you mentioned that because I've recently found out I don't really have much in terms of that, which is film is my passion. I currently work as a social media coordinator at my school that I graduated from. So I like still kind of like working like filming, editing, all that stuff. But then I go and film stuff for fun. But then it's in the film and edit stuff when I'm bored. So it's kind of like it's a 24/7 thing with me, but it's definitely interesting because I'm now at the point in my life where I'm like, what do I want to do for a hobby? I would like to try to get into like woodworking or maybe like costume making, like the Batman suit that I just wore. I handmade all that.
You made that. Oh, you did a good job.
Thank you. I did like a Party City mask, like just like half of it, like right here on the like the corner of your face.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking like, what can I do to get the rest of it? So I thought getting a ski mask, and you pull it over, and then it has, you just poke 2 holes so you can pull it down, then I like kind of just taped up all the edges in the face so it wraps up. So that's how I got it to
Wow.
pull down and everything. And I was
That's
like,
awesome.
I thought that was pretty creative, and I'm like, maybe this might be fun to like do here and there and stuff.
Yeah,
Cool.
absolutely. That was cool.
Hmm.
Yeah, I saw
you.
you sound like it was a swinging Halloween party.
Yes, it was. I was very happy with it. I've never had a Halloween party before. Like I've never thrown one, and luckily the box offered the location and stuff, and they're very supportive space for like filmmakers and stuff like that. And
That's awesome.
everybody has just done great work this year, and there's just been a lot going on this year, and I felt that we all probably just needed a night where we just have fun and take our mind off of all of the madness.
Hell yeah.
Sweet.
That's so cool.
Yeah, well, we saw your film at the Riverbend Film Festival, your documentary, your short film. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the man you interviewed?
Yeah, so what comes around was a class project for my video for social change class. We kind of had to pick like a social topic a little bit and kind of like make a documentary around it. And we were going through ideas. I knew this photographer that was also a cop, and I was like, that's a really unique balance, but unfortunately he couldn't do the documentary. So we're like, what would be something interesting for like a work-life balance type of deal, right? Like art versus the bills. And my friend Grant, who was in the same class with me, he like directed and stuff with me. He pitched Officer Lewis, or Jeff Lewis. I still haven't gotten over that. He was basically a cop that when me and Grant were like in, say, 4th grade, he was the one who came in and was like, don't do drugs. This happens. He tells us funny stories about how he got pepper sprayed for the first time. And basically we just, the whole community of Avon just kind of got to know him a little bit during like our time being in like 5th grade and stuff like that. And as the years went on and stuff like that, we didn't hear too much from him. And then Grant was like, well, he does music and stuff now. And I found his Instagram page and I was like, wow. And we told him about the idea for the documentary and he was down. And I thought it was interesting to like catch up a little bit and learn a little. So it was funny when we went to the bar where we were going to get the main shots of like him playing. That's like the stuff at the end and the beginning. I remember he hasn't seen me for like, I don't know, it had to be like close to like 9 years at that point. And I remember he was playing the guitar and he looked down at me and smiled, kind of like he remembered who I was when I was holding the camera next to Grant. And I thought that was really fun to like see him like play guitar and everything. And we just slowly started like learning a bit more about him because he was always a very open, like very like soft-spoken, like fun type of guy, right? But he's speaking to a bunch of little kids, so there's like certain like restrictions and stuff, things you got to say with comes to the police work and like the harsh reality of the world and stuff. But it was kind of interesting to now be 21 at the time, filming the documentary and then learning about the harshness of the job and life and everything that happened that you couldn't really say at that age. So it was really fascinating to kind of learn a bit more about a guy that had such a distinct way of like forming words and ideas back when we first heard it.
That's so cool. Yeah, that was a really good documentary.
Thank you.
My husband and I, we were programmers for the Riverbend Film Festival, and we saw your film and we're like, yeah, this needs to be in there. It's really good. It's touching. It's sweet. We really liked it. It was very good.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I had a question for you. Did you work on the Superman film, like the one about the man from Indiana that calls himself Superman? Like he's just really sweet guy. Did you work on that one?
So what's actually really funny about that is Sam Manaporan.
Yeah.
He was actually our teacher. So for video for social change was actually taught by him, and because he did Greener Pastures and Saving Superman and I forget there's another documentary he did, but he was our teacher and kind of told us the ins and outs and everything like that. And that was a really interesting class with him because he was more, a lot of my professors are kind of like a little older. He was a lot more like youthful and kind of had a different mindset and way of like holding himself. Because whereas teachers were a lot more like kind of like, I don't know how to really word it. They act like teachers and stuff. He was a lot more laid back and kind of like chill. He felt like just like a guy that was just talking and stuff. It was really casual, and there was like not a whole lot of pressure in showing things like in the class for like feedback and all that. And I thought it was a very different type of classroom environment. I really appreciated that because in the documentary you can the ending and the beginning were actually switched for like a good long while. And what's funny is when he was watching my cut, he was always like, it's almost there. And there was always like those tweaks where it's like, you're almost getting there, right? And it started out pretty rough at first when I started getting the film off the ground and starting to edit it. But by the end, we basically decided to just switch the ending. So when he's talking about never selling a record and the family and how it ends with his kids, that was a choice that he like really liked, and he was like, I think he got it, and he said that we like very much improved from where you started. And it was just overall a really good time making a documentary and being in that classroom environment and just seeing everybody's work.
That's really cool. Yeah, I like that for you.
Thank you.
So so you mentioned that you've been working on films and that sort of thing for about 6 years now.
Yeah.
How did that process kind of come about? Did it start when you were in college, or did you do that when you were younger?
So what's really funny is the school that I go to or went to and all the teachers knew my dad because I think it was around 2014 when he went back to college. Those were his teachers. So what was interesting is I used to like art when I was younger. I would always be drawing and everything. My family would buy me pencils and markers and notepads and all that. But my dad would come home with some of the students filming like short films in our living room and stuff. And I was always like, I'm like, that looks interesting, all the cameras and stuff. I feel like I remember like a moment where it's like there's all the camera equipment laid out and I just kept staring at it and stuff. And it looked really interesting. And I slowly started backing away from the art. And by the time I got to high school, they had a video class. When I was at Avon High School, it was the newsroom team kind of like reporting and stuff. And I was like, I want to try this because I want to see what filmmaking's like. And by that point, I've had some interest. I tried making stop motion films with my friend, and we wanted to be like YouTubers, but that never like actually happened. And by the time I got to high school, I took everything from like my dad being at college, the whole YouTuber goal when I was like 8 years old, and I was like, I want to do something. So I actually asked my teacher, I was like, can I do a Halloween special for our school? And that was actually the first time I did werewolves. And
cool.
Yeah, so I basically went out into the forest, and I didn't know how to film nighttime shots or color grade them day for night. So I just made up a random excuse that I wasn't supposed to turn yet. So I just started doing sound effects. I started doing the gloves. I did this bit where I ducked my head and I like flipped the ears up and I made like a gushy noise. It sounded like it's growing out. And
that's cool.
Edited it, put it on the school news. It was, in hindsight, it was very bold to put that out for the entire school to see. And you start walking the hallways, people know and all that. But people liked it. And I was like, this is interesting. So I started putting those on YouTube, and I just started kind of finding my voice a little bit. And all these years later, I got to Monster Girl, and I think I finally made a decent werewolf movie.
And it was really well done. Like, I mean, it's short, sweet, but it's like, it feels like the beginning to something. Like, I want to know this chick's story.
Yeah.
Yes. There's definitely some more stuff coming.
Very cool.
I haven't fully disclosed all of it, but I'll say that in the midst of like showing all these projects I've been posting on my Instagram, all the new stuff, there are things that are in the work that I haven't fully told, but we've been working on something, and I'm very excited to show those next few steps of it. But there's definitely more to come with like Monster Girl and everything around that.
Yeah. So speaking of Monster Girl, where did you get the inspiration for it?
Inspiration. I've always had a fascination with werewolves, and like kind of like taking old aesthetics a little bit. If you go on my Instagram, you can see that I've been really into like making vintage like videos and stuff like that. But I think the bulk of it came from my Seeing Sideways class. Yeah, that was it. That's where Who You Betting On and Once Loved and Alienated came from. Basically, it's kind of like a class that gets you to think outside the box creatively, but each person's a different field a little. So one does drawing, one does 3D. I was the only film person, so we had to basically stretch our mind out into something that you wouldn't do normally. And I was like, what can I do? Because it was a week to plan in a few days to like kind of finalize it. So it was like Wednesday, and then the next Wednesday you're basically have to submit it. So at the time of making Once Loved, Who You Betting On, those were all made in I think like a month or something. So I basically had to just run out the gate really quickly with an idea. And I just was like, I want to make a monster movie. And it just slowly all started piecing together slowly with like my friend Imani, who plays Monster Girl. She's like, I want to become an actress and all that. And I was like, I'm always the type of person that's like, if you want to act, you want to direct or anything film related, sometimes I make up an excuse to make a short film so people can kind of get their hands on it. And I always try to give my friends opportunities to like expand the horizons they want to. So first I put Imani in Alienated. She plays like the girlfriend. And then I was just like, you want to go again? And she's like, yeah. So I was like, do you want to be like the monster? And she's like, yeah. So we started kind of
who won it?
Yeah, she really liked it. She liked putting in the teeth and claws and everything. Yeah. And it just kind of came up with it through that way of just like such limited time. I have a tendency of like shooting for the stars when it comes to ideas and being ambitious, and trying to get all that done in like a week and a half was probably a little too ambitious, but I felt I wanted to try my best at it, and kind of how it came to be.
It's how you learn too. So, I mean, it's how you kind of understand yourself. You try for your goals, and if you fail, then you just correct it and then go again.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to specifically ask, because I also very much really love werewolves. Like the Ghillie Man and the werewolf are like my two favorite universal monsters. So what is it that draws you into werewolves? Like, what is it that you like about them?
Well, I think I used to always be in like really big monsters and stuff like that. And it's kind of like the Hulk too. Like he's also something that kind of aligns with like the monster vibe that I like. And I think it's the idea of like the scariness of someone normal turning into something that you're normally not supposed to see. And I like, as I get older, the nuances that come with it, like the fact that they don't want it, the fact that they hurt people, that they try to keep safe. And it's just like, I think normally you have monsters and they hurt people and you fight them and that's it. But it's like, what happens when a good person transforms into something that hurts people that they don't want to hurt? And it's kind of like you are the monster and the hero. And I think the fear of always seeing those transformations was always like cool and interesting to me. And with Monster Girl, I kind of wanted to upstairs my dogs. I kind of wanted to do something
You're good.
like that a little bit, and future projects with stuff like that.
Was it the movie Wolf? Did that have Jack Nicholson in it?
Yes.
Okay, that's the vampire movie that
Werewolf.
Was it called Werewolf or Wolf?
It's a werewolf movie. You said
what
vampire.
did I say? Did I say vampire? I don't know.
You're good.
Werewolf movie. It's like I would probably say my favorite werewolf movie because it's the one that like I have the most memories of. And it was like, for me, was a movie that had some like pretty good special effects for the time that it was in. Yeah. And
like the funny thing about Wolf is like Jack Nicholson is already this crazy, batshit insane character, but like they're able to also work this love story into it.
I need to watch that again.
You do. It's really good.
Yeah.
Silver Bullet's a really good one. Love that one.
Dude,
I've seen it, but I don't remember much about it.
Cycle of the Werewolf, that the novella, that it's based on, is like one of my favorites and has always stuck with me because my dad was an artist and he would draw like his own interpretation of different scenes from the novella before he saw the film.
It's really cool.
Yeah, so like werewolves were always ingrained in me. I fucking love them. That's why I'm kind of channeling my inner Ginger from Ginger Snaps today.
I love that.
But in all seriousness, what are some of the directors that inspired you? What kind of got you into film? Like you saw a director and was like, yeah, I want to be that. I want to replicate that.
I've been thinking about this one, and I'm like, I don't know if I really have a pinpoint like single one. I like what is his name? Oh my, I literally just forgot his name. David F. Sandberg, I think it is. He did like Shazam and Lights Out. A part of me really appreciates the YouTube aspect of his life, how he makes Shazam, he makes Lights Out, but he'll make a 5-minute short film with his wife and post it on YouTube and talk about how he made it. And I'm like, it's very unique to see somebody in that position to kind of speak on the level where we're all at, because we try to reach there, right? But with him, there's no line. It's all just filmmaking. And I think that's a really unique thing to take away when you're trying to like reach for the stars and become a big Hollywood person and all that. But I also do like people like John Carpenter. I like the atmosphere that he gives. Edgar Wright's also one that I tend to like. But outside that, can't really pinpoint too many.
Those are good ones, though. And especially, you know, as young as you are, YouTube is a part of your growth.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know, that's just, we had video stores, so that was kind of ours. But I'm also in that weird, because I'm a millennial, I'm in that weird space where, like, I have both the video stores and YouTube. So, like, for example, Chris Stuckman, who did Shelby Oaks.
Yes.
Amazing. He was a YouTuber first, and then he finally got his big break, and now he put out this independent film that took him literal years to make. That is incredible. And it's nice that we get to see so many independent artists rising up, especially Midwest artists. I mean, he's from Akron, Ohio.
Yeah.
So
it's not far at all.
Yeah, that's badass. And maybe you'll be the next one.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So the black and white was a nice touch on Monster Girl. Was that hard to do? Like to do it black, like to shoot it black and white or make it black and white? I don't know. I don't know nothing about film. So
I don't know if you did it in post or did you intend to do it?
I did actually. Yeah, I did that one in post. And if you don't mind, I have a little side tangent I can kind of go in with the overall with that. Yeah. So what was fun is I wanted to have a callback to those old Gothic kind of Universal monster films and stuff, right? But also add a touch of like modernism. So I found techniques of like how old film is slightly blurred. It's not too like crisp and stuff. So if you notice the credits and everything, it has like this really like echoey effect, and it kind of goes into like normal sound. It's like basically saying, because I opened the film with the Twilight Zone kind of feel, it's basically saying like this is an old school film but filtered through like modern stuff. That's why the camera's really crazy. That's why we have like really big kind of orchestral music that kind of harkens back to old stuff, but you hear slivers of like new techniques and stuff. So I kind of wanted to meld it, but it was kind of cool to experiment with black and white, because a lot of people say you don't have to worry too much about color or like little aspects that you would normally have without black and white. Black and white's purely just what does the lighting and framing look like, and that's all you got to worry about. So I thought that was fun because I tried framing the werewolf and Amani like in unique ways and stuff. One of my favorite shots is the eye shot where she looks like the Exorcist. I like looked at that and I was like, how can we film that old kind of technique? So at one point we put a light through a shoebox and we were like trying to filter it like to get to that size. And then I was like, what if I just film your face and just darken it in post? So we filmed it and I like masked it, feathered it, turned the darkness like all the way down. And I was like, wow, that's one of the few shots, I think the only shot I've ever done in a filmmaking life that has actually creeped me out. Put it on a big TV when I was editing in my school. And some of my classmates at the time, they were just in the back and I just was like, just sitting, and I just wanted to see what they think if they just look at the TV and see these like white eyes just piercing like through your soul, because I just stared at it for so long and it creeped me out. But in terms of like also, like I said, bringing it to like to the modern side a little bit, I really wanted to add a lot of subtle like nuances a little bit to like Amani's character. Whereas like it was kind of nice to just have like a really simple like monster movie, you know, like she turns into a werewolf, gets the bad guy. But I thought it was interesting how I could write something a little more. I tried my best to make something a bit more not basic, I guess. I tried adding subtle things where it's like she was like a woman and the guy's preying on her and you're like, oh, she's like the victim and he's like gonna hurt her. But then I like how you kind of like switch the tables a little bit where it's like he's now the victim and she's in control and everything like that. And I kind of wanted to I watched a lot of Twilight Zone, so there's always like these subtle stories that about like women, men, race, equality, rich, poor, and I was like, I like how you have these stories filtered through such a like a simple lens, but you can say so much with it. And it's kind of what I wanted to do with Monster Girl. Was like I wanted to do something simple, but take a really interesting approach to like modern views and stuff like that, and kind of like mesh it. And I tried like little things like that, and I've never attempted anything like that, so I was like hoping it read right and didn't come across bad or anything, but it seems like it's doing its job pretty well, and I appreciate that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just the movie in general, or the short, is just like it's gripping. You did such a good job, and I love the scene where she goes, "You better run," or something like that. Like she tells him, "You need to leave, otherwise, I'm gonna fuck you up right now." So like that was so good, and you realize this guy's fucked. Like he is not getting away. This is her victim now. Like this is her prey, and to see also a strong woman character. You don't see too many female werewolves. You do, but you don't. And like a couple of them that come to mind are like Trick or Treat. Yeah. Also Ginger Snaps.
Funny you mentioned that. I was watching Trick or Treat and I'm like getting the part where it's like the werewolves and the girls are like, it's my first time, and they're like unzipping their skin. And I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, did I watch that and like subconsciously make Monster Girl around that? Because that's like something similar. It's like you think that the stalker is going to get her, but then she takes him to the forest and it's basically like, oh, he's going to kill her. And then she's like a teenage girl and all that. And you're like, no, he's the one who's like absolutely screwed. And I was like, oh my goodness. Like I was literally watching that like 2 days ago and I was like, oh my God, I hope no one notices that. So I was like, I genuinely never knew how similar those were until I like watched it. And I was like, wow.
And there's nothing wrong with that because it's like, you know, when you copy something, it's like flattery, and like it's Michael Dougherty. He's an awesome person. So it's like, it makes sense.
Yeah. The one thing I thought about after I watched the film, like the short, was the black and white and the way that you called it like simple or simplistic. And to me, what it kind of reminded me of with the elements of black and white and being somewhat simplistic was like a comic book. Like I thought it could have been like a flip book because it is short and like you could go because there's very defined scenes, like when, you know, she's walking down in the beginning and then when, you know, everything happens. I won't give it all away, but you have like these defined scenes to where it could be in like a flip book, like a comic book style flip book.
Interesting. I mean, I do have a big obsession with superhero stuff.
That's cool.
I don't think my camera is panned down, but I have a whole section of like superhero stuff. I got like Hulk figures and
that's cool.
All that everywhere. So I would definitely say that like probably is like subconsciously an inspiration and stuff because I'm a big comic book fan and I always like the visuals that you can pull out of it. And I was also looking at like noir films at the same time, kind of trying to get that a little bit. And there's probably some like creep show stuff that was thrown in there really because that movie had a lot of like unnatural lighting. And I thought like just kind of the shot with the eyes and little things like that. I just really tried to really make that black and white work because if the movie was in color, I don't think it would nearly look as good as it did.
I don't think it would hold up as well. Like it's a good film. It's strong, but it's also like, I don't know, the black and white just gives it a little something extra.
Yeah. So where did you mostly film, and how do you know the actors and actresses?
So this one's kind of funny. So we mostly filmed near Monument Circle downtown. It's like each like there's like the circle, and then there's like all these different paths of like road, and each one has an alleyway. And if you've seen Spider-Man Training Day, you know there's tons of alley shots in there. Quite literally, all the stuff I've filmed is like literally in that little radius of like the circle.
Okay.
So each alley has its own stuff. Like Spider-Man, when Carnage kills the guy, like the bouncer, it's in one alley. Then across that alley is the opening scene, and then you kind of rotate it to that next street. Then that alleyway is Monster Girl, and then the next one is like another film. So it's all in the same spot, and I've really got accustomed to those locations. And I remember I was walking around, I was like, which one would I want to do? And I was like, this one I haven't. So we started filming there. And as I said, Amani, she was really wanting to get into acting. And I'm always like I said, wanting to give my friends opportunities and stuff. So I was like, come aboard this one. Then Natasha and Jasmine, they were the behind the scenes photographers, but also like they helped with lighting and camera work. Natasha did a lot of the camera work, and I got to meet them through these like indie photographer meetups and stuff. And then we just started kind of like developing like relationships with everybody and like friendships. And I was just like, you guys want to help on this one? So they did, and they did amazing. Then we had Andrew. I just kind of needed like the actor for the villain, and I was just like, I said, getting my friends, and I was like, Andrew, do you want to do it? And he's like, sure, man. Where do you need me? And I was just like, need you this time. And also had Mason. He helped with the final shot with the hood. And I think the shot where she does like the whole like hand thing, he helped with the lighting. So he helped with like pickups and stuff. And Walker, he helped with the opening like Twilight Zone stuff. I met him on another film called The Watchers. He was the camera operator. And I was like, we all became like friends on that set. And I was like, I think you have talent. Do you want to help me on this little like bit of the project? And he's like, sure. So just gathered everybody I could from different corners and made the movie. But it was funny that you mentioned like where we filmed, because at like 11 o'clock every night, I think every night, they have a memorial service for like in Indianapolis. They have like American flags hologrammed all across like the different corners of the monument. And as Amani's like kind of like wolfing out and being all creepy, there's literally like, as we honor our fallen heroes and stuff like that, like American like the anthem and everything playing, we're like, I was like, do we film or do we not? So like literally as Amani's like doing this, they're like, as we can now like take a moment for silence, and I literally was like, I was like, this feels very inappropriate. I was like, I don't know. So like, I'm like, okay. I was like, let's get back to it. And Monty's just like with Andrew and everything. And I was like, this is so weird.
That's cool. That's a good story, though.
Yeah.
Well, you also mentioned, like, I think it was an Instagram post or maybe it was a story that, like, if your video got more views, you would do a behind the scenes thing. Is that right?
Yeah. I think there's always some interesting stuff that goes on in my films. Like I said, because I film them with friends and I tend to make really like out there movies in terms of plot, there's always some unique story or way we did it. So I thought it'd be kind of like a good way to like push more views a little bit. I'm a big marketing person. I'm always like, how can I market this film in a unique way? So Monster Girl was like, let's make these old promos like vintage and stuff like that. So the most recent one I did was Amani on a roof, quote unquote, is a parking garage, and it was just me and her. So I pan the camera over to her as she's standing there like this. I like turned the fog machine on and I was like hazing it and flickering the light and everything, and we got to the lightning and everything, and I added the film look on there, and basically we just had like the title stretch, and we did another one where it's like all the reviews from the comment section.
That's
and
cool.
I just like stretched those out in like long letters, like the reviews are in, and I put like the score by Jared Walker. It's an amazing score. I think that's like his best work with me. But I'm always trying to figure that side out. And yeah.
That's so cool.
Do you have any more, any future plans to make more short films?
Always. I would say as of right now, I got I got Spider-Man Training Day deleted scene that
Cool.
I'll be releasing in November. That's a cool little fight scene in a canal where I'm hanging from poles and dodging axes and stuff, and it's all shot near water and everything.
Ooh.
And then I'm gonna start marketing Baby Steps near the end of that. It's a little crime comedy drama and stuff. And then I got a fan film audio drama, and I think by that point all the short films I've backlog over this year should be out, but I hope to make some stuff in the meantime. But I'm always working. If I'm not working on something, I'm planning the next one.
That's awesome.
Sounds like us.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
That's really cool, though. I'm glad that you're able to do that. And what is the name of your YouTube channel, by the way?
My YouTube channel is CDM Visuals.
Very good. And that's where, of course, our viewers, our listeners can watch your shorts and, Monster Girl, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Here's hoping that you're able to get into the Riverbend Film Festival for next year, because that would be badass to see that on the big screen.
Oh, very.
Yeah. And then you need to come down, and then we will, I don't know. We'll see who ends up being there, and then we'll just go hang out at the Fold.
That sounds awesome.
Quick question, because we have one more question that we ask every guest, but this is just my own curiosity. Have you ever been to Days of the Dead in Indy, the convention?
That was so funny. I stupidly missed the mark on that one.
Oh, no.
As I was making Monster Girl, I was like, this would be so sick for Days of the Dead. And I was like, oh, but I also made this movie called I Heard Her Call, and I have a soft spot for that one because I did study abroad in Greece. And I told my friends while we were up there, I'm like, we're going to make a short film, but if we can make it in America, we're not going to do it because I want to do something that we can only make while we're here.
In Greece,
and I was like, what could we do? And I was like, a siren. And so basically, because we were all up there shooting documentaries, I was like, I want you guys a lot of help. So we had Shay be the siren. We had Eden be the main girl. You had me acting and everybody else doing camera work, and I get dragged into the water in the middle of the night, and we had locals watching, and I was like, it turned out really good, and I loved making that short, but it never really took off in the way that I hoped. So I was like, man, maybe it would be good for this one, but I'm like, do I want to support the one that I love that didn't get the views, or do I want to support one that I know will probably do a lot better? And I was thinking about it. I'm asking all my friends, and they're like, Colin, you missed the deadline. I was like, oh, fuck.
It don't matter anyway.
Deciding, so neither got it.
It's understandable.
Well, there's always next year. And
I was say the next one's in December. The next Days of the Dead convention's in December.
Yeah. Noted.
Yeah. They do it. They do them 2 times a year. I like to go to the Indy one over Chicago. I don't know. Some people may disagree with me, but I'm over Chicago. I'm not a fucking big fan anymore. I'd much rather go to Indy. But yeah, I try to go to most of them. They're fun. I love supporting the local artists. That's my favorite thing is all the vendors and shit, because they have such cool stuff. I bought so much artwork that's in my house that is from Days of the Dead. I was showing I'm horrible with names, but the vendor that was next to us that does the tarot cards.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to remember her name. I'm so sorry.
I blanking out too.
Is, though.
Well, I have an excuse because it was the first time I talked to her. But I was talking to her about people under the stairs, and then I sent her that picture that I have. So I love the artwork and stuff like that. But so the question that we ask every single guest we have is, in closing, what is your favorite horror movie? And tell us why.
Oh man, I would probably say Fright Night. I tend to like that one a lot.
Okay. We don't hear that one very often.
No, that's a pretty cool choice. I'm okay with that one. Oh, sweet. Yeah.
Whoa, that's badass.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I got the poster hanging to like literally like above my bed. But no, yeah, I like that, and I love the remake. I feel like I can acknowledge the remake is better, but I love the
That's
original
Colin
stuff.
Farrell, right? In the remake?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that one's with Anton Yelkin too. David Tennant.
The remake isn't too bad, but I don't know. I have a soft spot for the original because it has what's his nuts in it? Sarandon.
Sarandon? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The voice of Jack Skellington. That guy.
Oh, okay.
I love him.
I was thinking Susan Sarandon. I'm like,
oh well.
What?
I think they're related somehow. I don't know how.
I don't know.
I think
that's
what
I was thinking. I was like, Susan Sarandon's not in Fright Night.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know really what, but it's just like something really drew me in with that movie. Like I just turned it on and then I just kept watching it, and just the point where just like I just love it, and it's a weird thing because most of the things I can explain why I love that given thing, but with Fright Night, it's just one of those things like it just feels right. And I think what's interesting with that in the remake is like how I like the subtlety of the first one a little, where it's like it's still creepy and atmospheric, but then Colin Farrell goes and like throws motorbikes and blows up houses and stuff. And it's like it's really interesting to see those two next to each other because it gives you a really good idea of like how can you do subtlety and how can you show like reaching like the limits of like how crazy someone can be. Because it's like Chris Sarandon's so creepy because he's so like soft-spoken and kind of like he lures you in because he's like handsome dude and everything.
Oh yeah.
But Colin Farrell has like this really like biker hipster look and stuff like that, and he's like muscle. And I'm just like, it's interesting to see how somebody gets the same point across in like two different ways. And I think that's something that I like kind of admire about watching both of them.
That's so cool. I've never heard anybody like talk about the remake or Fright Night in general. No. So it's so cool hearing it from somebody finally. It needs love. It really does.
It does. Because I'm like, I feel so like everybody's like, I love Halloween. I love Scream or Terrifier is cool. I'm like Fright Night. And they're like, what is that? And I'm like, I was like, got Colin Farrell in it. But then I'm like, that's not the one I'm talking about. It's the only way I can connect it.
Yeah, and the whole thing is too, like I feel like you have a thing with like transformation scenes and that sort of thing. Seeing somebody becomes a good person becomes something like monstrous, and like no better encapsulation of that is when the chick from Friday Night in the original, where she becomes that scary ass face. For whatever reason, as a kid, that face scared the fuck out of me.
I love that bit. There's
another one I need to go back and watch too.
You would like it.
Yeah, I've seen it, but it's been years.
It's like horror is so interesting to me because like I feel like a lot of the villains tend to be like really like male dominated. You get to really see a lot of different guys and stuff. But I think like what makes like Monster Girl really interesting for me is it's presented that way. It's like the guy is the villain, the girl's like the damsel in distress and stuff. But with horror, they're always like pushing that kind of feel, right? But then you also have like the final girls and everything. And I think that's just interesting to see where final girls go, because I just like seeing how like the women like transform like character arc wise over the film. And just I've always been intrigued by the women in films being like the villain a little bit. And it's like with Fright Night, when I saw like Amanda Beers like transform and stuff, it really stuck out to me because Chris Sarandon, he's like creepy and he's always creepy. But with her, she's like this innocent kind of like this teenage girl that has like really no bad qualities or anything like that. But then she gets turned into a monster, and it's like it's just that innocence or that lack of like they'll be fine, they're right there type of deal, but then they're the ones you got to worry about. And I always thought that was interesting to see how like Charlie would go up against her. And I thought, where could I like apply that with Monster Girl? Because it's like the damsel in distress being the main villain, and then her kind of maybe being the villain. I've had some conversations with people where it's like he was attacking her, so is she a bad person? But it's also the fact that she already was a werewolf going in, so she was playing on the fact that he was hurting her or attempting to. So she was always in control. So it's like was she bad because she technically went out of her way to do that, or is he the villain because he was attacking her? And it just watching different horror movies with different leads and ideas, it just creates a lot of like ideas in my head that I really want to express.
Yeah, and you can even like come up with your own werewolf lore if you really want to, because like, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't remember a full moon necessarily being there. So can she change at will? Was it her time, like her month, and so she was just like waiting for it? You know what I mean?
She's a period wolf.
Do you have an answer
Like
for
Ginger.
that?
Oh shit!
Kind of an answer. How do I word it? I'll say that there is another project that I'm writing where I tackle that, and the idea that there's no moon is a big part of that, because I like try to take some subtle changes to like werewolf lore a little bit to kind of make the story a bit more unique. And I'll say I do plan on having her feature in that story, but the way that she was viewed and expressed in this film kind of proves a point to like how werewolves express, like what I'm trying to express with werewolves a little bit in that movie. So there's definitely like reasonings and stuff, but it'll probably like get answers too like down the line.
That'll be cool.
Dude, if you do a period wolf, the silver bullet's going to be birth control pills. Just force them little motherfuckers down her throat. You're not changing on me. Yeah.
Oh my God. Not changing.
There you go. That's her kryptonite, is birth control pills. Stop that period dead in its tracks.
And they're like stuffed with wolfsbane just to make sure.
Yeah. There you go. I did it. I wrote the rest of your movie. My royalties can come in later. Don't worry. You can, I don't know. You could pay me in Cadbury bunny eggs or ridiculous shirts. I have an amazing
I got you.
I ordered. She's having a funeral birthday, and I have an amazing shirt that I'm going to wear for it.
Dude,
it's totally just pristine for the occasion.
I can't wait. You're killing me.
Awesome.
That's always your goal on here. It's like either kill me or make me pee. I don't know.
Something like that. Awesome. Well, we want to thank you for taking the time with us today, and kind of answering our questions. It's been really fun. And it's always good to learn about filmmakers. That's one of the things we love doing is, putting all sorts of different style filmmakers on. So we definitely appreciate you taking the time with us.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you guys allowing me to do this and stuff. It's always nice seeing support, and I always trying to give support. Like just to shout out some people as of late, I found that like Indy has a very underrated horror scene, I think, here. Like I'm trying my own stuff with horror. There's a movie called Explore from Another World that I was in, that's on Amazon Prime, that was made by Woody Edwards. That was literally I was one of the main core characters, and I could tell you he filmed that all in his garage and backyard, and that's to see where that movie has gone has blown my mind. Like
sounds like Tim Richardson.
Yeah,
he did the same thing.
We got like some fan made a little
oh my god, that's cute.
That's cool.
And they're featured in a magazine. So
awesome.
I was like, that's cool. Crazy to see the support of that. And then we also have people like Aiden Campbell, who's working on The Watchers right now. That's I really don't know how to describe the genre with that one. He wants to make it really unique, but being on set and watching the trailer that's at Arc Productions on YouTube, I was like blown away, and seeing where he's trying to put that in like a really big movie theater and stuff is really awesome. And especially at our age, see so many people shoot for it. And then it's people like oh my god, I don't know if I'm remembering the name right, like Brawless Comedy or Cowboys or something. They're making another movie called Jody, and that one looks really unique. It's kind of like 70s 80s inspired, like horror and everything. And it's so nice to just see so many people have all these really different projects and stuff, but always putting their own little spin or ideas and everything. Because again, you got like 50s horror movie meets Terrifier, and you got like this really unique slasher, and you got like throwback films and everything, and it's just really nice because I know indie's very like low key in terms of the filmmaking area, but when people do put themselves out here, I always try my best to support and just celebrate the fact that like we're doing it.
Hell yeah.
Sweet.
Well, as soon as we get any information for the Riverbend Film Festival, we'll definitely be sending it your way so that way you can get the deadline or early bird deadline.
Sweet. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to see that on the big screen. That'd be amazing to have you come to Goshen.
Yeah, I don't mind driving back down to Goshen.
Sweet.
It's a nice place.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Well, with that being said, look out for each other and good night, cellar dwellers. Bye-bye. Bye. Take your birth control pills. You won't turn into a werewolf.
God damn it.
I'll make that